I think on this record, we just really hope this music really demonstrates, really tells the story of the good news of Jesus, the hope that is this message, this gospel. It is good news. And so this record for all of us, whether it's the rock disc or whether it's our worship disc, really is just about that good news. I mean, the name Hearts of Saints is from Philemon 1:7, where Paul is writing, I'm encouraged by your kindness and faith because you've refreshed the hearts of the saints. That's what we want. That's what we want our music to be. We want it to be a refreshment. We want it to be we want the music to be an ambassador of the good news, of the love of Christ. So that's what we hope with any of our music. As far as where does the inspiration come from, I mean, it's hard to not say the cheesy kind of standard answer of the scriptures, but this is truth. The scriptures are alive, and so this record is just saturated. It's the core of these songs was written based on scriptures. But aside from that, I mean, just life. I think just viewing our lives as a mission field and everything we do, when you start looking at your life that way, that you don't have to go to a third world country to be a missionary. We're missionaries to the neighbors, and going to a different country is just as people are called, and I'm not downplaying that at all. But when you live like a missionary in everything you do, there's so many stories to tell. On this particular album, Wait is a song that is about a young teenage fan who we found out that committed suicide. And so we hear these stories of fans who are struggling with self-mutilation or thinking of taking their own lives. And so Wait is just a song about that struggle and about the hope that we have in Jesus to battle that struggle. Or a song like You're Alive, which is a song about a friend of ours who's struggling with doubt. And so I think the inspiration for this record and in general is the scriptures and just the daily living through faith. I personally just really radically understanding how the Father loves us. Just like really understanding in 1 John where it talks about we love because we were first loved. Like understanding that there's nothing that I can do to separate. There's nothing we can do or have done to separate us from the love of the Father, and that He loved us first. That's a really, like, understanding the gospel, like really understanding that love that He has for us, radically changed my life. And I think I can speak for the rest of the guys in the band for that as well. I think just resting in who Christ is. I mean, He is Lord of all. Jesus is absolute Lord of all. And so just understanding that in the Great Commission when He says, go and make disciples and I'm with you always to the end of the age. Like just understanding that He's with us no matter what tomorrow brings. And so just really trusting, like really having our faith and dependence be on Him and resting in that. I think, I think that's just rest, because I think that's, He says, come to me those who are weary and I will give you rest. So just resting and trusting and being obedient to whatever the Father, wherever the Spirit is leading us. I think that's what we hope to achieve, just obedience. I think as a Christian band, sometimes there can be a negative stereotype that maybe musicianship or maybe the authenticity or creativity isn't as good if you're a Christian band. Maybe that's the world's perspective. But I think that when you understand and you realize that the most creative, I mean, we believe in a God who created everything. So we ought to be the most creative people. His children ought to be the most creative people on the planet. So just battling sometimes that perception And then also, the gospel to the world is an offense. It's good news for us. I mean, Romans says it's the very power of the gospel that saves us, but it's foolishness if you don't believe. If you don't have faith, if you don't know Jesus, it's foolishness. So the world can be very critical. I think even within the church sometimes, as believers, as brothers and sisters, we can be sometimes a little critical. But I think more than anything, we just want our music, we just want to be about unity, and we just want to be about spreading the good news, the love of Christ to both the world and to our brothers and sisters, to uplift and encourage them about their identity and the wonderful view the Father has of them. And ultimately, I think John Foreman once said, we're Christians by faith, not by genre. I think as a band, we want to be a good band, not just a good Christian band. And so, we want to be very creative. We want to be great musicians. We want to strive to be excellent, to bring our best at whatever we're doing. And so that's no different. As far as songwriting and performance when we take the stage and play, we just want to bring our best, and we want to rest in Christ for the rest of it.